Welcome to Armstrong Avenue, Armstrong's Electric Avenue.
Welcome to the Armstrong Avenue podcast, brought to you by the Independent Wrestling Network. Here's your hosts, Big Mike and Scott Armstrong.
Welcome back to Armstrong Avenue. This is episode number 29. You are here with Big Mike, and I'm sitting here in the studio with Scott Armstrong. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Big Mike? You sound like you might be a little bit stopped up, man. You all right?
Oh yeah, I'm sick. I got some kind of. There's something going around. I don't know, but I'm fighting through it.
You didn't want to let it. You didn't want to let it not get you.
Man, I don't.
Hey,
just gotta keep fighting through it.
Yeah, stay hydrated. Hey, look, man,
doing.
it's a good day just to chill, right?
Yeah.
Every day's a good day just to chill. What's going on, man? Big week this week in the wrestling world.
Yeah, we just had Royal Rumble last night, which I called it. Was fantastic. A lot of good things happened. Some people returned at the Royal Rumble, including Hall of Famer Booker T.
Oh man, how cool was it to see him? He looks phenomenal. Yep. He's got his body in shape, man. He looked great. Typical Booker T, man. Typical Book.
If I hadn't known where you were at last night, I was hoping we might see a little Dixie Dynamite.
Hey, I've refereed a few of those Rumbles. They're a lot of fun to referee. But hey, man, it was a really look. I think from start to finish, the Rumble was a good show. Was it long? Yes, it was very long. And I was on a show last night with Diamond Championship Wrestling over in Mobile, and as the show was going on, I had the Royal Rumble on my phone, and I downloaded the Peacock app right before I left my house, and so all I had to do was boom. I set my phone up so that I could watch the show, and then they took an intermission, and I went out and talked to some of the fans, and I took my phone and I was looking at the Royal Rumble, and all of a sudden it came number 30, and people started coming up saying, "What are you watching?" And I said, "It's Royal Rumble. The number 30 just came out," and I didn't say the name of who it was, and like 2 or 3 people just immediately just started walking away, and I went, "Well, was it something I said?" And they both turned back and said, "No, we just we're gonna go home and watch it. We came to this show, and then we're gonna watch it after this show." And I was, "Oh, okay." So, but yeah, dude, it was man, WWE. Come on, what can you say, man? They spare no expense. 51,000 people in that dome, and
what a great crowd. I mean, that crowd was hyped from the minute they started to the end.
Yeah,
we can get to the end in a little bit, but like just phenomenal crowd.
It's with WWE, the big 3 pay-per-views, the WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble, and each one of those are a huge event, and they're not just a live event in your city. They're the mecca of it all, and when you rent a dome to put on a show, you put on a show, and WWE always does. I mean, it's they get it, and they're really seasoned at it. I mean, how many WrestleManias have there been? You know what I mean? So they've had that long to perfect the craft of giving to the public the mega show, and there's something to be a part of. My entire family got to go to the WrestleMania that was at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and so, man, 101,000 plus people. And that's just something, I'll personally never forget that. Biggest crowd, needless to say, I was ever a part of. But I'll never forget my dad was still alive. And he said, "I can't believe that I've lived long enough to see a wrestling show draw that many people." And it's true. And it's but hey, they do it right. And the Rumble was great. Just really long. If you watched it as a 2-parter, phenomenal. But really long. I actually Mike, let me tell you this. I actually was at that show for Diamond, and I'm watching the men's rumble while I'm there during intermission of that show. Then we finish the show, and I talk to a bunch of the guys, and I get in my car and start driving home. And I had about an hour and 20-minute drive, something like that. And I'm watching Rhea Ripley. I'm watching the end of the women's rumble. Then I finally get home and walk in, and I was able to catch the end of the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match on TV at my house. It was like, my God, how long did I was literally
5.5 hour show?
Yeah, I went to Mobile, Alabama, did the entire show, then drove back from Mobile, Alabama. It's still on. But at the same time, production value second to none. I mean, really, just hats off to the people in front of and behind the cameras, because it takes a village. The old saying, it takes a village, and it does. And Mike, even putting on shows with a smaller scale, you can't just say, you know what, I'm going to run a wrestling show. Hey, how much to rent your building? Okay, here's the money. I'm going to run a wrestling show. You can't just do that. I mean, there's so many things involved. And so they just do it on the grand scale. Yeah. That is for sure.
Way bigger than anything anybody else has ever even thought of doing.
Yes, and it ain't easy.
How long was that entrance from the Tron to the ring? I mean, if it had been me trying to get to the Rumble, I would have been blown up before I got to the ring.
I was just going to say, if you noticed, there were a lot of people that walked it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Their number popped up, and here they come. And I saw one or two people try to run it, and I thought, man, by the time you get there, you're so blown up. You just might as well just run across the ring and jump over the top rope.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, that was. I was like, whoo, that's a long. It was the similar setup that SummerSlam had. The way it curved, and I like it. It's just a long ramp. I thought
it's long, dude. It's you're in a dome. I mean, simple as that. And so you have a long walk. It's crazy. It sure makes for some cool entrances, though. You know what I mean? You get a longer time to see your superstar. Yep. So that's cool.
And were there some superstars? I mean, we already mentioned Booker T. I mean, WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest in-ring performers, tag team performers, of all time. And how old is Booker now? He's 50.
He's in his 50s. Yeah.
And he hit the spin-a-rooney in the middle of the ring. Popped me. My wife was like, I didn't know he could move like that.
Yeah, man, he still got it. That's what I was waiting on, is the huge 50,000 people chanting, "You still got it," because that's the first thing I thought of. Man, he can still do the gig. You know what I mean? Yep. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yep. And then you had Logan Paul. He came out, and what a moment he and Ricochet had. That's going to go down in the history books of one of the top moments of any pay-per-view of all time.
WWE will use that clip until the end of time. You think about how many times have you seen Mankind come off the top of the cage through the table? This is going to get that same attention for the next decade. And deservedly so. It was really, really a cool moment. And you could see when they were each on outside of the ring, jawing each other across the ring. I remember looking at it going, oh, man, I know what they're about to do. They're about to do this. I just didn't know what they would do on Impact. You know what I mean? I didn't know if one would clothesline the other or if it would be a crossbody or what. And man, look, I don't care what anybody says. When you hit another body, propelling forward in the air that high up, boom, and then hit the ground, boom, man,
that hurts.
Yes, it does.
Those are pieces of lumber they are landing on with very thin padding.
Very huge bumps for our entertainment, and man, I got to say, I was entertained. So, thank you to both those dudes. I enjoyed it for sure.
How good is Logan Paul to be a YouTube sensation, to go from that to being as talented as he has become as an in-ring performer and a sports entertainer? So he's got the shtick,
without a doubt. And as soon as he was going to get the opportunity to wrestle, you immediately want to hate him. You know what I mean? Wrestling fans immediately want to go, well, he's not from our world, so forget him. And then you see him come in the ring, be able to, do what we do and do it well. And you go, okay, from my old wrestler point of view, I look at it as that dude, he studied the craft and he gave it everything he had to learn it. So, hey man, respect. I mean, that's the truth. I got respect for the guy. He really has given everything he's got. I know a lot of the wrestling world disagrees with me still, but I just see it differently. He's talented and he's got what it takes. I know he could be signed by WWE and be there for a while. I just don't know if that'll ever happen because I'm sure he can make a lot more money in other places. But I'm sure WWE would love to have him. Yeah. And I'm talking about on a regular basis, making live events every week and that kind of stuff. But hey, man, whatever happens, happens, and the guy's doing great.
Yeah, I think honestly, a lot of people were talking on Twitter. Of course, we know you can't always believe anything on Twitter, but the rumors.
Wait a minute, Mike. Everything on Twitter is the truth. It's that simple. Unless you say something about a referee.
Yeah. The rumor mill is that Logan Paul threw Seth Rollins over. That might be potentially setting up them at a WrestleMania, which I think would be an absolute banger of a WrestleMania match, the two of them.
Yeah.
So
it'd be awesome. It really would, and they'd put on a heck of a show.
And then
we'll see.
And then what about Gunther going from number one, setting an all-time record of longest performance in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that dude, not only can he beat you up, he obviously has endurance. Yeah, man. Hey, look, he's talented. And he was in NXT UK for a long time. And then to finally, come to the United States and get his break to be with mainstream WWE and on the main roster and done nothing but flourish, man. I'll tell you that match that he and Sheamus had, that was at WrestleMania, wasn't it? Or was it?
No, I think that was at SummerSlam.
Oh, SummerSlam. And so that match they had, I still remember. I mean, and I think that was a huge feather in Gunther's cap, to put on his resume, that match, and people to see. Because a lot of people aren't familiar with his body of work. I saw it because I was over all the referees at NXT UK. So I saw Gunther on a regular basis on their show. And but I don't think, our United States viewers were really watched him. And so to see him do so well, hey, and he's just getting started. I mean, that guy's going to have a good career here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, he's impressive without a doubt. And he's double tough.
He's very impressive. Bright future.
Yes.
But Cody Rhodes, that's the talk of everybody.
Yeah, we talked about it, right, on a previous episode. And we talked about it. I literally thought Cody would go to like the top 4. I thought, and I think we may have talked about that on one of our episodes where I said I think it'll be Seth, and Cody eliminate each other, and then they will go to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
but I was wrong. Yeah, they put Cody got the win, and man, congrats. I know he's been out with an injury, and nothing worse, from as a old wrestler and a wrestling point of view, than to have an injury that takes you out of the game. Because once you're in, you're going. Cody was in. He had a good head of steam with his career in WWE and just really getting started. And then he had the injury. And so the injury took him out for a while. And to see this, and now he goes right into Mania. And I guess Roman has both belts, right?
Yeah.
Or both championships, I should say. Vince McMahon does not like you saying the word belts. And so with Roman having both championships, Cody can only wrestle Roman Reigns, right?
Yeah.
And so then you go to the second night, and does Roman Reigns wrestle the second night too? For the top, I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting how they set this up because
it's 2 nights, right? Is it 2 nights
again, right? 2 nights of WrestleMania, and it's I don't know. Because Roman still got the storyline. He's with this whole bloodline thing he's doing.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I don't know how it's going to work. All I know is Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he made a statement.
Pop.
Yeah, made a statement last night. Good for him. Good for him.
But the women's Royal Rumble saw a little bit of some NXT stars. We didn't see anybody from NXT in the men's, which kind of shocked me. I was expecting maybe a Braun Breaker or maybe a Carmelo Hayes or somebody like that. Two of the guys who I think are a little bit ready for the main roster, but we didn't see them. But on the women's, we had Roxanne or Roxy,
right.
Roxanne Perez.
Hey, hold on. Hey, girl, come here. Yeah. I'm sending her to work today. Go to work.
Hey, Big Mike.
Hey.
So baby, what was your get wherever you want to see? What was your favorite WrestleMania moment last night?
Well, Triple H.
Michelle, he what? Dude, she did it to me again. He didn't even have a match on the show. She said he didn't need to. Oh,
I heard that. That's funny.
Man. Yeah.
Should be giving you hell, man.
Do you know a good divorce lawyer, Mike?
No, but I'm sure we have listeners who, could prefer you.
Yes.
I think there might be some heat brewing between you and Triple H. Maybe we will get a super kick party to Triple H.
Yes. Anyway, what were we saying? She's on. She's got to go to work, so I'll snag her before she leaves.
Oh, that's funny.
So what were we talking about? What was I?
We had NXT stars making the debut on for the women's Royal Rumble. We had Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
Zoe Stark was there.
Look,
I think Indy Hartwell was there too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
That's
really, really happy. I've worked with all those young ladies at NXT. Not the young lady Perez.
Roxanne Perez. I think she came in a little after you.
Right after I left. And so really happy for all of them, because that is like look, you want to be a wrestler. And if you start in the indies and you work your way up and finally you get a tryout, and then NXT says, hey, we're going to sign you, and then they take you there and train you. The entire time, all you're doing is dreaming of working for WWE. But to be in the Royal Rumble and that number pop up, and then there's your name huge on that Tron, and here you come, and all cameras in the building are focused on nobody but you. And oh man, that's a dream come true for any wrestler ever when it comes to WWE and the big shows. And so for each of those three, congrats to all three of them. I'm so happy that they had the opportunity. For Zoe Stark, look, we've talked about her how many times on this show?
Hashtag Stark Marks.
Right. So we are Stark Marks. And so, her focus, her drive, I've said before, she is undeniable. You cannot deny that she is a heck of a talent. And so to see her be a part of that, and she lasted a pretty good bit in the Rumble, and huge congrats to all of them. But I'm, Zoe's I know her real well, and so I'm truly, truly happy. And Indy too. Look, Indy, I saw her tweet the morning after, and she immediately said, "Dream of a lifetime." And I thought, yes, that's exactly what it is. Dream of a lifetime. So, you know what else was cool, Mike, was to see Ryder.
Zack Ryder, Chelsea Green.
Yeah, just see Chelsea come back. Her gear was on point. She looked gorgeous. And look, she was only in the ring like 20 seconds. But the morning after, she tweets and says, good morning, WWE Universe. And just hundreds of replies. And I just thought, I want to look at the thread, because it is Twitter. And you want to see if people are just dogging her or if they're really talking sweet about her. I saw one negative post. One. And I thought, wow, everybody said, great to have you back. You looked gorgeous. Which brand do you think you'll be on, Raw or SmackDown? And it was just so cool to see them welcome her back, and I was really happy for her. She's a really cool young lady, and you know, to be able to be around her and Matt or Zach Ryder, to be able to be around those guys in my career is just a bonus for me. But it's been a lot of fun with both of them. They're good people.
And another one of your former coworkers and personal friends, Nia Jax, made her return.
Yes,
number 30.
Yeah, that was cool to see too, and for me, very unexpected.
I didn't know it was happening.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see now if she will be a part of the roster or if that was a one-time thing. Because, you know, sometimes in these Rumbles, you see somebody one time and you don't see them again. And so I'll be interested to see how it works out. And, you know, hey, whatever benefits the two, I hope the best for all of them. So, but yeah, really cool. And she's still gorgeous, man. She's always just been so pretty and so fun to be around for me.
I was still hoping that Doink the Clown would make his Royal Rumble appearance. But, another year without
talking to him.
That's funny. But Rhea Ripley, she won the women's. That's, you know, fantastic for her.
Dude, it literally goes in with the old saying that it's always cool to see good things happen to good people. She is, you know, when I was in NXT, she was there for a minute and then got pulled up and then just immediately started making an impact. And the craziest thing that people don't know about her is every Tuesday night she would come to we'd do the live NXT TV show on Tuesday night, and she would come earlier in the afternoon and just see everybody and tell everybody hey and how she missed being a part of it. And I mean, such a cool human being and true sweetheart. And my wife even said, "Who is that girl? She looks big." And I said, "Yes, she's my height." I said, "But I'll tell you right now, sweeter person you won't meet, a genuine smile, and then to see her win the Royal Rumble, man, I immediately wanted to text her, and I was riding in the car watching it on. Well, I was kind of listening to it on my phone, but and when she won, all I could think of was, man, that I'm so happy for her. It was just really, and I did want to text her, but at the same time, I thought, right about now, she's getting about 5,000 text messages. So I'll wait a couple of days and then shoot her a text and let her know, man. I was really happy for her. Her career again, and she's like, you know, what, 24 or 25 or something.
Yeah, still young in her career, man.
Yeah, she honestly will. Staying healthy, she will be a Hall of Famer, first ballot for sure, bar none.
She's got another 5-6 years of just on top of the world. Maybe
easy, and maybe 10. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep. So good for her, man. It was I enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble match. I enjoyed the men's. What did you think about the pitch black Bray Wyatt LA Knight match?
So look, I think those matches are cool. I think the concept of those matches are cool. But man, I can't see. I want it. You know, as a guy watching on TV, I want it lit up, man. I want to see it. I want to, you know. But at the same time, I get the concept, and it's a cool match. And you know, I'm a big fan of both guys. I have known Bray for a long, long time. I met LA Knight about 2 years ago when he first came to NXT, and really got to know him. But I don't know him like I know Bray, because of Bray and his dad and his brother, and you know, wrestling family, and I'm wrestling family, and so I just have a lot longer connection with Bray. But the two of them together, they mesh, I think, and I hope that's not the only match we're going to see from those two. I hope we get more. Yeah. But it is what it is. I mean, you know, out of my control for sure.
Yeah. There's people who talk about people having that it factor, the charisma, the in-ring ability, mic skills, the whole 9 yards. And LA Knight, to me, checks every single box.
He does. He does.
He's got the look. He's got the charisma, the mic skills,
yes.
everything you want in a superstar. He's got it.
Without a doubt. Yes. He one time at NXT TV, right as he walked out, I'm sitting at a desk with a headset on, and he's messing with me, and his music hits, and I said, boy, get out that door. And he takes off. Well, here comes the ring jacket guy with his ring jacket back. So I put his ring jacket on, and I had the headset on. And when he came back through, he immediately starts going, hey, did anybody see my ring jacket? And I said out loud, I don't know. They carried it over there somewhere. And he started walking where I pointed, and I was wearing it. I like that dude, though, man. He is. He's got it all. He does. He's got it all. And it's cool to now see it showcased at such a high level in the company.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that dude.
Yep. I enjoyed the concept of the match. I thought it was something different. You know, the ring,
It is, yes.
the ropes glowed. Bray had the face paint on that glowed. Their trunks glowed. It was just a really cool concept, but like you, I couldn't really see everything that was going on.
Yeah. Hey, man, so, I'm just old. I need to see stuff.
Yeah. But the moment of the night for me was the ending of the main event. I mean, what has been brewing in the Bloodline storyline with Sami Zayn and everything that's been going on over the last 6 to 7 months. Last night, it finally culminated, and it was just perfect.
It was definitely story, and you couldn't look away. And look, the show was so long that after the women's battle royal, the Rumble, you just go, all right, man, well, it's about time to go to bed. And then you see they show the package that's the build up to the next match. And you see that and you go, oh, yeah, I want to watch this. And look, in my mind, did I think Roman was going to get beat? No, I did not. So I felt like the ending was a foregone conclusion. But as a wrestling fan and a viewer, man, was I hooked into the rest of it. I mean, I was hooked into the match. Kevin Owens, great worker. Roman is Roman Reigns. And so they had a great match and did some good stuff. But then to see the storyline afterwards, oh my gosh, man. It's the page turner. You know what I mean? I now want to turn the page to see what the rest of the story is. Yeah. And so with Sammy, and then it was Jey Uso, right, that walked away.
Yeah.
And so to see the reasoning behind that, right now everything's speculation, right? You ask 10 wrestling fans, they'll give you 10 different reasons he walked away. But I know in that room, they've already talked about why he did it. And so I want to know their reasoning for why he walked away and then see where it goes, man. It's going to be, look, it's a great story and it's fun, man. That's what wrestling's supposed to be. And so I look forward to it, man. It will be fun. It'll be fun to watch, Monday Night Raw and see where they go with it.
Yeah. The end of the show, Roman Reigns, they take out Sami Zayn. He's laying there. The FU Roman chants were rattling that dome. I mean,
yes.
And that's how you know everybody in the back knew we did what we were supposed to do today.
This worked.
From the story to the people in the ring, everything we have planned, that worked.
That worked. Without a doubt. And it did. And so, Mike, you know how loud that came off on television.
Imagine how loud,
standing in the dead center of 51,000 faces aimed in your direction. That had to be super. The way Roman reacted to it, like at first when I heard it on TV, I thought, "Are they saying?" And then the second time, they are, and he just stopped and looked like, "What?" How, and then turned like, "How dare you?" Like I'm Roman Reigns. It was perfect. It was awesome. Great TV.
The way they left the ring, Sami Zayn laying there basically unconscious, the petals from what they were going to put around his neck strode across the ring. Kevin Owens laid there, handcuffed to the ropes. I mean, this was just perfect from start to finish. The way this was done.
It was really and a great look. That very last shot before they went off air of Roman and John. What's his name? John, not what's his wrestling name? Uso.
Solo,
and then
Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy, yeah, and so Jimmy, Roman, Solo, and Heyman, and Roman's got that, half stance, jaw protruding, staring. Solo's got the mean look. Uso's got the mean look. Heyman's got the evil professor look, and that's how they go off there. And you just go, you couldn't have set that up any better, and they all just did it naturally, and it was friggin' money, man. Oh, I mean, perfect. Again, it makes me want to watch Monday Night Raw and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yep. And you want to know what else is perfect? A great cup of Bones coffee.
Brother, is it ever? And I had it this morning. It's awesome.
I've been, I haven't slept in 2 nights because of this, I've got going. So I wake up with the Bones coffee, put it in, make my coffee, drink my cup, and then later on in the day when I'm still feeling that grogginess because I'm dealing with some kind of virus or whatever's going on here, I have my Zero FG Energy to keep me going. I drink this about 1 o'clock, and I'm going to be going the rest of the day, baby.
Well, remember the last podcast we did? You told me you were sending it down here, and I've stood out next to the mailbox every day, all day.
It's on the way.
Never showed up. Yeah, it's on the way. Checks in the mail. Hey, and so look, I'm looking forward to trying that. It sounds awesome, and I'm talking about the energy drink, and then and I'm also still somebody hit us up, Mike. Lynn Ray was the name from the email. Lynn Ray said, I will make your shirts for your podcast. And I think this person was just being nice. First thing I thought is, are they from Collar and Elbow? Because as you know, use code Armstrong on Collar and Elbow on their site, and you get 10% off your order. And so I thought, is this person from Collar and Elbow? And then I don't think so. I think this is just somebody going, I'm tired of these guys always talking about they wish they had a shirt, so I'm just going to make them one.
Yeah, that was funny.
But what a kind gesture. That's really, really nice. I really appreciate that. But guys, remember, Bones Coffee, code Armstrong gets you 15% off your order, and 10% with Collar and Elbow. And we want to thank, this is episode 29, and so we really want to thank Collar and Elbow came on really early. Bones Coffee came on super early with us, and now our energy drink friends have come on, and so we just want to say a special thank you to those people because they are the reason for our season, along with the IWN, the app that you feel free to download and see all kinds of stuff with a lot of independent shows and that kind of thing. But
it's the home of main event wrestling.
Yes, and most of all, main event wrestling, because without those two entities, IWN and main event, there's no Armstrong Avenue podcast. Yep. And so we really appreciate everybody that supports us and the downloads. Hey, man, our last episode, Mike,
was crazy.
The without a doubt, the most downloaded episode that we've done out of the 28 so far. Now this is 29, so we'll see what this does. But it only took me saying something on Twitter and then finally answering all the negativity that I got from that. And I answered it in that podcast. And I think people wanted to say, okay, let's hear his point of view about the bleeding and the horrible bleeding and referees' reactions to that. And so anybody that's still wondering that didn't get an opportunity to hear that podcast, it was episode 28, and we covered it for a good bit. And I was able to tell my point of view, and please agree or disagree, and let us know. And now this is on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
So look again on YouTube. Please leave in the comments, like and subscribe. We appreciate any and all support. And coming soon, we're going to start having guests on here with us. We talked about that being one of the goals of 2023, and so we hope to start that sooner than later. I've already talked to my crazy brother, and he said, "Yeah, I'll be glad to do it." And he was really happy to know that we just do 1 hour, because I think he does 2. And so I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "You can just come on every 30 minutes." He goes, "No, I'll do the whole hour with you." Okay, great. Don't forget you said that.
We're going to hold him over for a little bit longer. We're going to get everything out of him we can, all right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, definitely. But I hope to have I hope to have stars from the past, just like main event wrestling. Stars from the past, stars from the future. People that are just getting their start. And because it's cool as a wrestling fan to hear all the look, I wrestled 40. I've been in the business. August will be 40 years. So I have my ways of looking at the wrestling business, and I know they don't agree with something a 22-year-old might see and say, "Oh, well, it should be this way." Well, hey, I welcome what you say, because I can learn from you and your opinion. So even though your opinion's wrong, no, I'm just kidding. But I can learn from their viewpoint, because it is 2023. I broke in 1983, so I want to hear what they think and what they say. So hey, again, like and subscribe and leave comments on YouTube. We appreciate all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, Mike, please let everybody know about our dates coming up with Main Event Wrestling.
Okay. Yeah. I was about to get into that. Main Event Wrestling has we've got February, where they are running 2 back-to-back shows. Griffin, Georgia, Friday, February 24th at the Kiwanis Club, right next door to the National Guard Armory. Can't miss it.
It's the fairgrounds, right? Isn't that the fairgrounds?
It's right in front of the fairgrounds. Yep.
Beautiful.
We're doing a benefit show to help those affected by the horrible tornadoes. I've rode through on numerous occasions looking at the damage. It has just been, I mean, it's awful. Homes are gone. People who are living in apartment complexes have nowhere to go.
Yes.
Churches are open up. We're working alongside the Mount Olive Outreach Ministries, who has opened their church as a sanctuary, feeding, clothing, providing shelter for people who've lost everything. And I think that's a great thing. And we're trying to help out as much as we can. So if you're in the area, Atlanta, south of Griffin, wherever, and you want to come up here, make a donation, whatever, we're here to help these people. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's Friday, February 24th, Saturday, February 25th, Dothan, Alabama. The Crossing at Big Creek, which is I can't say casino. It's the bingo hall, but it's slot machines. It's a cool place. Scott's been there before. It's got a great venue, and we're bringing a phenomenal show. Main Event Wrestling just announced former NXT superstar Zachary Wentz, formerly known to Scott, Zachary Wentz is coming. He's going to be facing the IWN champion, Carly Bravo.
Yeah, it's really looking forward to that. He and Blake Christian on that show, or is he on the Friday? He's on the Friday show.
He's not on the Friday show either.
Oh, because we moved the date.
Yeah, Blake Christian was supposed to be on the show January 28th, but unfortunately, due to having the tornado coming through, we had to postpone that one to February, and
he was booked. Yeah. That's a shame. We got to try to get him in the future. But look, Zachary Wentz, he was one half of MSK, and so for at NXT. MSK at NXT. I don't even know how to spell all that. But anyway, he was one half of their tag team, and that dude can go, man. I'm telling you, he is unreal in the ring. So very fortunate to have him. So really looking forward to that. Look, it's a really cool MEW Main Event Wrestling weekend. The last weekend of February. So look, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to Griffin, doing the show, driving about halfway, grabbing a hotel room, and heading on down to Dothan, get there early so I can eat at Dobbs Barbecue, which is the premier barbecue joint in Dothan, Alabama. and then head over to the venue. And it is a new venue. It's super nice. And tell them exactly what it's called, Mike, so that because I'll screw it up.
It's the crossing at Big Creek. It's just south of Dothan. I think that's 231.
Yes, 231. It's 231 south if you're coming from Dothan. And literally, for our viewers and listeners, if you are looking it up, it's called The Crossing at Big Creek.
Yep,
that's the name of it. And you put that in, it'll take you right to it. You can Yelp it; it'll tell you all about it. And but it is a very cool venue. And in Dothan, there are a lot of really cool. Look, in Griffin, there's some great places to eat because it's so close to Atlanta. But in Dothan, there's some good Southern, good country cooking restaurants all around there. And
they also have a CC's Pizza, which is something I'm doing. They took our CC's Pizza away from my town like probably 15 years ago.
Oh, how dare them.
And when I found the CC's Pizza in Dothan, I said, well, thank you, Lord.
Can we bring them on as a sponsor?
I've talked to them, but I think it's corporate. I don't know. But I know I've eaten there a lot since I've been down there.
Oh, Mike, I love it.
They also have a Shoney's. Like, Dothan's got all these things that they took away from Griffin and Thomaston years ago, man. And I'm just like, man, I'm living like I'm in 1999 again.
Brother, I had my very, very first ever wrestling match in Dothan, Alabama. And I'm telling you, 1983. And so I remember the day of, we went to Dobbs Barbecue, and my brother Brad said, oh, you've never been here, have you? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, so Scotty, we eat here, because the show would be every Saturday night. He said, we eat here every Saturday. And I went, okay, well, man, he was right. And I've eaten there every Saturday, and anytime I'm ever in Dothan or passing through, whip in, grab some Brunswick stew and a good barbecue sandwich. I'm off to the races, man. I definitely will be hitting that place.
I'll have to bring some Tums with me. I love Brunswick stew, but good Lord, I'll be messed up. But no, and what makes that weekend even better is our partnership with Dragon Gate Japan is bringing the Twin Gate champions, KZ and Big Boss Shamiz, from Japan to Griffin, Georgia, Friday night, and Dothan, Alabama, Saturday night. So if you want to see like traditional Japanese wrestling that you wouldn't get to see anywhere else ever, come to Dothan, Alabama on Saturday and Griffin, Georgia that Friday night, because this is going to be phenomenal. And that partnership, we are very excited about it.
And so, remember, Mike, before the end of 2022 on this podcast, we talked about the big things that were happening in 2023, and we could not, we hadn't signed anything with Dragon Gate at that time. So we couldn't say it, but the negotiations had started. And so we couldn't say anything. We just kept saying, hey, big things are coming in 2023. And I know the listeners and viewers would go, sure, that's what everybody says. But this was the ball that was rolling. We just couldn't say anything yet. And I think, MEW has come up with the concept of running the weekend, so 2 nights in a row, and Talent is more on the game to say, yeah, I want to work both nights. I'll work both nights with just y'all, because Talent can then book an entire weekend instead of saying, oh, well, I got to go do this show in, North Alabama and do this other show in Miami. And they're driving back and forth. There's a lot of driving in the independent scene. And anybody that's an independent wrestler that's hearing this, they know what I'm talking about. So I think it benefits the wrestler, the talent. I think it benefits MEW to run an entire weekend instead of just one show at the beginning of the month and one show at the end of the month. I think it's better to run, and I guess we'll find out because we're doing it at the last weekend of February. So we just want everybody listening and watching this to know, hey, please come out, support us. It's going to be awesome, and we've already putting the shows together and got that lined up with Dragon Gate and see a couple of their top stars. And so come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
And I'm already getting messages, emails, DMs on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram from people who listen to our podcast who are in the Dothan or the Wiregrass area or just in Alabama in general. And they are so excited that Main Event Wrestling is bringing like real professional wrestling back to that area that hasn't been there since when did Continental leave? The early 90s, 93, 94?
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
When
there's
they became
been
the Federation, or
there's been like I call them hot shots. I don't know what the actual word is, but like a promotion come in and run one show, and then year and a half go by, and then a promotion come in and have one show, and then few years go by, and so the cool part I know on our end is being able to sit down with the people in Dothan and say, hey, we want to come here on a regular basis, or y'all.
And I know.
And they said yes. So that's a very cool thing.
And we've already secured dates with that venue all the way through June.
So that's awesome.
We've got 5 months in that area, as well as we've already started. Management at Main Event Wrestling has already started letting us know that they are talking with other cities in the Wiregrass area, Daleville, Enterprise, places like that for potential places to run. So if you're in that area.
Yeah, Alabama was always a hotbed, man. I mean, of course, it's been a day or two ago, but it was always a hotbed for wrestling.
Yeah. If you're in that area and you want to see us, you want to come out and meet Big Mike and Scott, and we'll talk about the podcast, and I'll sign some autographs and kiss some babies.
Yes, you will.
I will. Look, I'm getting a big head over here because I'm world famous now, but especially in Cambodia.
Hey, listen, man, you can't, with that cold, you can't kiss any babies.
No.
You got to wear a mask.
I think I got this from my baby kissing me, so that's how I think that happened. You know, my 2-year-old came home with a cough. Next thing I know, I woke up with a cough. And
good old daycare, man.
Yes, I love them though. I wouldn't do anything.
It around. Yeah, they pass it around. That's for sure.
It's the truth. But we're looking forward to the future with Main Event Wrestling going forward. It's exciting. More big things on the horizon that I can't talk about yet, but they're still working on it every day.
Yeah. Hey, you know, Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's something I did want to say, and I talked with my son about it today. As a matter of fact, he said, "Hey, how'd the show go last night?" And I'd done that show in Mobile, and I said, "Oh, it was great, man. I had a good time, and everybody gave it everything they had." And then I'd gotten home to watch the very end of the Royal Rumble, the Roman stuff, and I'd seen a little bit of the other stuff. And so I told him, I said, you know what, man? I said, the passion that I know that was in the locker room at the Royal Rumble, all those athletes focusing on how to have the very best match. They're nervous. They're focused. I mean, 100 adjectives to go in to describe how much they want to get in that ring and do their thing. And then last night, in front of a lot less people, in a much smaller venue, I saw the exact same thing in that locker room. And it'll be the same thing in our locker room at the end of February, the entire weekend. If you are a talent in the wrestling business and you get into that locker room, it doesn't matter what locker room you're in the entire world. You want to do the best you can and give the best performance possible for the people that paid to come in. And that doesn't matter if there's 100 people in the audience or 51,000 plus in the audience. It's the same love and passion for wrestling, no matter what. Now, would everybody on my show last night would love nothing better to get that phone call to go and be in the Royal Rumble? Yes. I mean, they would. But that didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah.
And it didn't affect their performance at all. Everyone went out there and gave it everything they had. And it's just cool to see that the passion from a talent / wrestler / performer, it's all heart. It's all from the heart. And to see that last night and see that at the mega level, it's all just heart, man. Everybody's out there giving it everything they got. It's, man, for me to have done it for a long time and be able to sit and be around it my whole life, to be able to sit back and see that was like, wow, man, I've come full circle, because I was that talent. I did want to do the best. I was fortunate to get picked up, and I was able to do that part too. And now I can, back back at the salt of the earth level and look around and see the heart in everybody. You know what I mean? It's really, for me personally, it's cool. A lot of people don't see that and go, oh, whatever. But if you really appreciate wrestling and you really are a wrestling fan and not just somebody that says, oh, I know everything. I don't know anything. I'll just be honest. But I do know that everybody gave it everything they had, no matter what town they were in last night, and it was cool to see.
That's awesome. That is awesome. But now on to everybody who is a fan of Armstrong Avenue's favorite part of this podcast. It is the hashtag Ask Scott section of this podcast. If you want to ask Scott any question, anytime, just go on to the Armstrong Avenue podcast fan group on Facebook, hit hashtag Ask Scott, ask that question. We're going to get rolling into the first one. Johnny Sanders says, hashtag Ask Scott, do you remember the beach bash that Continental did at Holiday Beach? I was just a kid, so I don't remember how many times it was done, but I do remember your dad getting up and singing and dancing, and I do remember they put the ring in the water, which I thought was freaking cool. Just curious of your memories of that event.
Oh, vividly. I think it was in Birmingham. Was it Birmingham, Alabama? Did it say that?
It just said Holiday Beach, so I'm not really sure where that is.
I think it's right outside Birmingham. You know what? I'm going to look it up while we're talking. But I think it was just outside Birmingham, Alabama. And I remember it vividly. It was a blast. Because literally it was an all-day event. And you know, they had the concession stand cooking fresh dipping corn dogs and families out there, and you know, we were able to be my whole family. I mean, everybody in my family, my brothers, my dad, we were all there. We had rafts. It was a lake, and we were all laying out on the lake, people fishing, and oh man, yes, do I remember it vividly, man. It was great. And the man that owned it was, I want to say his name was Johnny Batey. And I would love to know where he is now, or if he's doing good. I would love to contact that dude. So what's the name of the gentleman that asked this question, Mike?
Johnny Sanders.
Johnny Sanders. So Johnny, if you have any idea what happened to that dude, I would love any info I could get, man. He was a great, great guy. Really cool guy. A couple of times he called us and just said, hey, I'm not open today, but if you guys want to bring your family out here, it'll just be y'all. And we took him up on it a couple of times. Me and my wife and Steve got in one of his canoes and caught bass. And, oh, man, we just had a great time. And fishing and swimming and, oh, man. But, yes, the answer to the question, I remember it vividly and would love to relive it, man. It was awesome. Holiday Beach is what you're telling me.
Yes, Holiday Beach. Thanks, Johnny, for that question. That was great. I've got Kimberly Skipper asking this one. Hashtag Ask Scott. Can you talk about your time in the Rat Patrol?
Sure, yes. I definitely can. So it was Rich, Armstrong, and Tonga. Johnny Rich, who was first cousins with Wildfire Tommy Rich. And so it was Johnny Rich, me, and Tonga Kid, who went on to be, oh gosh, what were they called? The Samoan SWAT team or some, he was a part of a team in WWF. He left here and geez, he was only, I don't know, 17 or 18 years old, but man, could he wrestle. And he had fire and you know, he was Samoan. And so, man, anytime that we did the thing, so the Rat Patrol was like the Freebirds, a 3-man team. So you know, all three of us walked to the ring, and if it was just a single match, you didn't know which one of us was going to wrestle the single match. And then if the tag match was on first, all three of us walked to the ring, and you didn't know which two were going to be in the tag to work to have that match. And so, I mean, Johnny, they were literally, other than a family member, which my dad, all of my brothers have been tag team partners. But other than my family, I think they are the only two. And then later on in my career, Davey Rich, Johnny Rich's cousin on the other side, they were the only non-family member tag team partners I ever had in my career in all my years. And so I got really close with all those guys because, look, you go to war with them every night. You travel with them. Johnny, we lived in Pensacola. Johnny lived in Montgomery, and it was on our way to Birmingham. We would pick him up, and then once we started, they had like a USA. Ron Fuller opened a USA Wrestling in Tennessee, and I'd pick up Johnny, and we'd go because, look, Tonga Kid was so good that it didn't take WWF long to see him and go, hey, you come work for us. And, you know, when they call, you realize that's, you know, chance of a lifetime. So you go. And he went and had a great career. And, but yeah, had phenomenal times. It was kind of on the job training because I was learning how to wrestle with other partners other than my family. When you wrestle with your family, you kind of know they're like the back of your hand. You kind of know what they're doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing together. And with those guys, it was learning a lot about me and how good I wasn't, and, but learning how to work with them. But the travel time, my God, man, there's stories I can't tell. But I can just say this: we were young and we had a really good time. But thank you for the question. Yeah, it was definitely memorable in my career for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Great question. Like I said, guys, if you want to ask any questions, go to the hashtag Ask Scott segment in the Armstrong Avenue podcast fan group. You can ask Scott any question you want, what his favorite color is. I think he's already said that.
It's green.
It's green.
Preferably with hundreds in the corner.
Who his favorite wrestler is? We all know his wife's is Triple H.
You don't have to keep harping on that, Mike. Come on, man. And yeah, my favorite, Scott Armstrong. He's the best, man. He also the best referee in the history of the world, of any referee.
I seen somebody make a 30-man list for a referee Royal Rumble.
Was
like
I
Dave? Yeah, you were in there. It was like everybody was in there was probably 500,000 comments on it. I think it was in like one of the wrestling fan pages on Facebook.
So to be honest, I would have to be number 30, and the ring would have to be like 15 feet from the entrance.
A lot of people said that that Mike Chioda would win it.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. That dude, he was with WWE, WWF, and he was there since he was 17 years old. So he's definitely the guy when it comes to that company for sure.
Yeah. So I didn't see many Scott Armstrongs on there, so I had to be the one to comment. I was like, no, it's going to be Scott Armstrong.
Well, thanks for having my back, Mike. Thank you.
That's funny. But hey, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, go like and follow the podcast on any app you listen to it, YouTube. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Twitter. I'm Big Mike, the host. He's WWE Armstrong. Go to the Armstrong Avenue podcast fan group because it is incredible. The Jerry Stubbs is in the podcast fan group, so you never know. He might comment on your stuff. You know, it's happened.
Yep, you never know.
Happened. So hey, we've enjoyed this. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, y'all, for listening.
Thanks, guys.